Hi, welcome to Adventures in Bonsai. Sorry I haven't had any videos up lately, but I've had some heart issues and I also had my shoulder operated on recently. But I wanted to show you what's going on around here. Spring is here and lots happening with the bonsai and other trees. Let's go take a look. My grape plants, which were looking dismal over the winter, have actually come back. I've got a new one here I just planted, and that's starting to do pretty well. And another one that I had for a while, it also looked like it was dead, but a lot of nice leaves on it now. And I'm actually seeing some baby grapes on the first one we looked at. Now I've cut down a lot of my trees in terms of the number that I had, making it a little easier for me. I'm still waiting for some of these to come back. This one here I don't think is going to make it. It's just too dry and too dead looking. But a lot of the other ones that I thought were dead, like this Fukienti, is coming back very nicely. And some of these other citrus trees, I think this is a lemon or perhaps a grapefruit, is also doing pretty good. This is a papaya, and I'm waiting for it to start up again. I'm not sure if it's going to make it or not. We'll see what happens with it. Here's some other papayas, and they're doing pretty good here. This one here is a nice short one, but it's going to be going out laterally now, so that's doing all right. And this banyan tree, bonsai, is also doing pretty good and starting to get some new leaves growing. This is an interesting tree. I don't know what it is. Over the winter I cut it down really short over here. It's hard for me to see what I'm doing with this, folks. Sorry if the filming is terrible on this. And all of a sudden, one spring started to get here. It looks like an acacia of some sort. I think it's got thorns on it. But all of a sudden, it's doing great. It's got this nice new growth coming out. I'm looking forward to when it matures a little, and we'll see what happens with it. Let's go take a look at some of the other areas. This is my baobab tree. It's an African tree. I planted it from seed a couple years ago, waiting all winter for it, and all of a sudden the green sprouts are coming out. These are local natural grapes here in Florida, wild grapes. You can get them all over and they're edible. And they're coming along. Okay, so here's one of my shelves. This tree here is not going to make it. I have to get rid of it, and when I'm able to, I'll move it and move it away. The other trees are doing pretty good. This is a papaya, which had some green coming out of it, and still does. A couple little spots here. Maybe it'll take off like that other papaya that's got some lateral growth on it. This is a tree that needs some trimming. It's a Chinese elm. Here's a tree that we took the inside of it out, and we used sulfur, lime sulfur on it to whiten up this area in the center. I really kind of like the way that looks, and the tree's coming back and doing well. We have some other areas here where we use the lime sulfur, and it gives it a nice look, that white, in contrast to the darker wood. Another one of my favorite trees, I'm using my other hand to get this up here. This is my ginkgo. I wait every year in April. Finally it opens up, and there we go. The new ginkgo leaves are coming. My other ginkgo, which is this one, lost all the top leaves. What I'm going to do is I want to clean this out so I can see better, because eventually I expect some ginkgo leaves to start sprouting from somewhere in here. I think the tree is still alive, hopefully. All of my Perculari carrii have come back. They always lose their leaves in the winter, and you're never quite sure what's going to be happening. Here's another one here. Nice little tree. Here's one. This is a Florida poinsettia. I think I cut it off pretty drastically right over here, but we got all this stuff coming out of the top of it now. So that's doing all right. Same thing over here on this one up here I'm trying to show you. I also cut that one off, and it's got a lot of growth coming out of the top of it now and doing all right. Other plants here hanging in, doing all right. Here's the sarissa that's planted in a urinal from the hospital. I thought it would make an interesting thing to be able to follow and see the roots and what maybe goes on in the sphagnum moss, but it's not that interesting. This one here looked dead before, but it's coming back nicely now. Here's a nice, this is a banyan tree. It's got great surface roots on it. I don't know if you can see that. I'm trying to move the camera so you can see what's going on. I transplanted it recently to sphagnum moss after 2 years in soil, and I think it's doing pretty well. Over here we have the orchids growing, and they're doing nice. They start to bloom periodically for us. And another nice ficus here. I think this is a Philippines ficus, I'm not sure. It's one of the ficus family. I think there may be 1,200 ficus species in the world. We're also getting our little pineapples growing out here. What you do is you take the top off of a pineapple when you buy it, you slice it right around here. I don't know if you can see that or not. It's hard for me to do this, and I apologize. I can't see what I'm doing. There you go, right over here. You slice it here, keep the top, put it in soil, keep it protected from squirrels, and in this shade for a while, a couple weeks maybe, and they start to grow, and eventually you can get yourself pineapples coming out. The other trick is to protect them from wild animals that like to get them. Once they start to sweeten up, raccoons will go after them. This is one of my favorite trees. It's a mimosa that I grew from a seed. I mean, look at the thickness of that trunk, you know? It's a very interesting plant. I've always liked mimosas from when I lived up in Philadelphia. Here's another, this is a baobab that I've transplanted to I grew this from a seed, and I never put it in the ground. And it's just starting. Let's see if I can get this camera up there so you can see this little piece of green that's coming out. So that's starting to grow now also. Always love to see this stuff come back in the springtime. And the other trees and plants are all coming back. As a fig. It's got some nice growth on it. I'm hoping this is a Barbados cherry. I'm not sure what it is. We'll see. And walking around here, let's go to the other. Over here I have a rather large and long and leggy papaya tree. Goes all the way up. All the way up. And over here, this is a size, you might actually see a little papaya start on it. But it's healthy, it's probably a couple years old and doing well, grown it from a seed. Oh look, I see something new here. Look at these, I just saw these flowers, first time. This plant here, I'm not sure what it is, but I like the flowers on it, and maybe somebody can identify and tell me what's going on. Sago palm, another Chinese elm. Here's my moss collection that I have for when I have to moss things up. This one here was the Apicularum carrii that I thought was not going to make it. It just looked deader than anything. But it's back to life and doing all right. Here's my oldest bonsai, 1985. This was planted from a lemon seed in Philadelphia. Has never given me a lemon. That's, what is that, almost 30 years old? Come on. What's the story here? This was a tree that I decided just to cut it off right there. And all of a sudden, within 2 days or so, got all this nice stuff growing out of it. This here is a tree, I forget what it is. It's got a beautiful trunk on it. You can see where the squirrels have been digging and bothering me. But all of a sudden, finally, an interesting shaped leaf. That should be able to help me identify it a lot. All of a sudden, within the last 2 days or so, the leaves have just been sprouting like crazy. My mahogany tree, grown from a seed 17 years ago. Great, great trunk here. Doing pretty well. The leaves are all starting to come out now. You see the mahogany trees now all doing the same thing. They drop their leaves and they get new ones. So these plants here are all doing pretty well. Nice little bamboo here coming back to life. And another Chinese elm. And when I get a chance, I'll be taking care of those, trimming them down. This is my newest project. I don't know if you can see this or not, the wiring. I'm putting this around this whole bottom shelf here. I have to make an area as a nursery. I have a lot of seeds growing. We'll see them in a couple minutes. And if I leave them out of my lanai, the squirrels will kill them. They just dig them up looking for seeds. Even though I started leaving food for the squirrels, peanuts and corn cobs, I figured maybe they'd leave my plants alone. But all it does is it attracts a lot of other squirrels, and they have gangs of them, and they come here and they're just killing my plants. I had a plant left out here on the table that I had just done before I had my surgery. And I packed it good with sphagnum moss and really made it nice. I came here, I found it on the ground, ripped to shreds just about. I'm trying to save it now. I think I have one leaf on it. We'll take a look at that when we go up to the lanai. Okay, so that's what's happening down here pretty much. Here's something else interesting you might find interesting. I find it interesting. And, you know, we planted many years ago a small piece of ginger. And now this whole area here gets covered and filled with these little shoots coming out. You see these little shoots here? I hope you can see them. I'm bending down to move this here so the guys with the lawnmowers don't cut them. Because that's what they did last week. They came here and they didn't realize what this was, so I had to mark it out better. But we start to get these lovely little shoots coming up, and they get these wonderfully red, hand grenade looking fruits on them that are really interesting. Ginger is a good fruit. Just go to a store near you, pick up a ginger root, put it in sphagnum moss, it'll take off, put it in the ground, and you're good to go. This is a little table I built here for our plants, and it was pretty simple, just a couple cinder blocks, little construction adhesive, a plank, paint them. Here's another Percularum carrii, doing pretty well. This here's a ficus, I think a Green Island ficus, also doing pretty good here. This one here is something, I'm not sure, but it's starting to grow, starting to do good. This tree reminds me of a kapok tree. Got all these great spines and thorny things, and it's just growing like crazy. It had hardly anything on it before, but it's really doing well now. This is my bullhorn acacia. I've added a little ram here, just for fun. The plant itself is doing nice. I took this area here, and I'm using lime sulfur on it because it was a dead thing, and I kind of liked the contrast of the white, but the plant itself is really just blooming like crazy. I mean, look at this stuff. It's going nuts here. Great tree to get. Here's another ficus. Great trunk. I mean, it's hard for me to see. Hold on a second, folks. Nice, thick, heavy trunk, side trunk. I think I got this at Weigert's Bonsai Nursery up in North Fort Myers. This one here, I don't remember what it is. It's a cute little tree. Nice little leaves, not sure. Here's the tree, the juniper, that I went and replanted and repositioned because I thought it'd give a nice look to it. And it still is looking pretty good. If I can see what I'm filming here, it'll be even better. You know, these cameras without a viewfinder, excuse me, cut it. So this is the juniper, and I like the way it's looking. Like I said, these cameras without a separate viewfinder, you can't see what you're looking at on these windows. It's technology gone awry. Okay, let's go take a look and see what's going on in the lanai. This here is our Buddha plant. Always an interesting plant. And once it starts to grow its leaves, they come out quick and fast, and we get these beautiful flowers in here. And it's just a fun plant to have around. Here's a couple of orchids for you. Nice, isn't it? Oh, here's a plant that needs to be watered right away. Here, if you're looking and you want to see what's going on, this tree is dry, way too dry. I can see it in the leaves right away. I want to water that in a minute or two. Something to look out for. Watch your leaves and watch your plants. This is a ficus over here, Long Island ficus. Had it for a while. Has this nice piece on it here, the sherry and the gin and all that stuff. Also looks like it could use a little water. Another banyan bonsai, doing pretty well. Nice trunk, nice leaves, healthy, doing well. And these plants are, mostly in sphagnum moss, and they grow well in it. This is a Bismarck palm. We've had it in this pot for 5 years now, maybe 6 years. I've seen other ones on the block that were planted at the same time that are huge. Our ponytail palms that I punk out a little and make them a little shorter than they usually are. I'll show you what they're supposed to look like. And there's the pine tree in the corner. Here's another ponytail palm that we also spiked out, and we just left it one long piece coming out of it down there. Here's what they're basically supposed to look like in nature. Nice long leaves. My wife's euphorbias are really taking off and going crazy. Look at these beautiful flowers. These are called string of pearls. We also got this other plant recently she got called fuchsia, with these beautiful bulbous red things that come out and then a white flower inside. Pretty neat. Doing pretty well too. Here's her begonia, flowering, looking good. And then we get to the area where, this is my nursery that I have now. First, here's a jade. And what I did with this jade, I made it so that the branches hang down by putting fishing weights on them. And it gives it a very interesting look. Here's the nursery. I have lots of interesting stuff growing here this year. Not all from seeds. Some are seedlings that I got on eBay. This here is burley tobacco from North Carolina. Doing pretty well. These are growing in soil. I think I find that the tobacco plants do better in soil, although I also have them in sphagnum moss and they're not doing bad there either. Over here is the cotton crop. Cotton's a great plant to grow for bonsai. It has a beautiful purple flower, and not only that, but you get the cotton bolls, and it's just an amazing thing to watch. And they come back year after year. Just take care of them, and it's a great plant to have. You get seeds on eBay pretty easily. You can also get the tobacco plants on eBay. There's a guy there called, I think, mytobacco.com or something. He's real good. He ships real well. And you get these seedlings and you plant them good directions and they work really good. And he sends you free seeds for tobacco if you want. Anyway, here's some ones I just planted yesterday. Now, just transplanted. They're looking not so good, but they like to be dry. But these look like they could use a little bit of water. So I'm going to water them a little bit. In here are a bunch of seeds for mimosas. Just planted these and they're all starting to come up and do pretty well. And here's Kiwi's Memorial Bonsai, where we put her ashes in the ground, and that's also coming back now and doing well. So that's the story, folks. It's great having springtime back and seeing everything growing. I hope everything's going good your way. Have fun with your bonsai. Okay.